Xinjiang, a land of countless moving tales and relentless pursuits. Traversing the ancient paths of Wusun, some measure the treacherous terrain and the unknown with their own footsteps. Amid the melodious drums of Tianshan lutes, others carrying on the faith and emotions of their ancestors. Along the bustling trade routes, others bring the treasures of the western regions to the world. They paint a collective portrait of an era that belongs to Xinjiang, radiating boundless vitality along the Silk Road.
现在我们准备过河了，骑马过河。这条河目前是乌孙古道最大的一条河。现在我们该骑马过河全过程。
Born on the vast grasslands of Ili in Xinjiang, Alao, a member of the Kazakh ethnic group, grew up riding horseback and living amidst nomadic pastures. Since 2020, Alao has been guiding travelers along the breathtaking trails of Kalajin and the ancient Wusun Path, each step seemingly retracing the ancient footprints of the Silk Road.
跟我从小生活的环境有关吧，因为我们这个民族的话，一年要转3次转场。 然后每一次转场都有自己的一定的难度，因为我对这个山路特别熟嘛。之前是我哥哥带我走了几次，我就渐渐就是热爱上了做领队的这个工作。我可以交到全国各地的朋友啊，他们可以教我一些汉语呀、方言呀，我可以教他们骑马呀什么的，我觉得挺快乐的。
Alao's feet not only tread the vast grasslands, but also venture into this cultural corridor that spans thousands of years. Every time he leads a tour group, it is a meaningful dialogue with the Silk Road.
就像每天你看一个一样的风景，每天你都会看腻的。但是，就是我对这片土地的热爱是，就像这个土地是我的生命一样，我很热爱，所以我都想每天待在这里。 这个乌孙古道的话是丝绸之路的一个重要部分嘛。以前这个乌孙古道是我们牧民的，就是宝地，就是每个牧民就争抢这块土地，我就会给他们讲述这些事儿，然后就这样要爱护乌孙古道啊什么的。爱护环境，从个人做起，这是我的家园，也是我们每一个人的。我们有时候要连夜赶路。 有时候连夜赶路到那个山口呀那种地方的话，会下雪，会有暴风雨呀，有雪呀。我们回来的时候也是很艰苦的，当时心里面也很崩溃，但是第二天就没了，第二天就很开心，还是愿意继续做。
Drawing wisdom from the pastoral life of the grasslands, he uses his rich experience to help travelers navigate these remote paths. As a guide, he teaches each visitor essential survival skills in fluent Mandarin, and more importantly, shares the culture and spirit of this land with all who travel through it.
我发布的内容里面有这个乌孙古道里面的过河啊、翻打板呀，有难度的一些路线嘛。我拍下来就是让别人看到这条道路的难度啊，过河的难度、爬山的难度。这个乌孙古道作为丝绸之路的一个重要部分，我们要爱惜它。作为引路人呢，不仅要传播草原文化。 更要提醒大家有环保意识，把美留下，把垃圾带走。先保护好，然后再说传承。
For Alao, being an outdoor guide is not just a career, but a calling. He sees himself as a new generation ambassador of the Silk Road, infusing every journey with his deep love and reverence for this land. No matter how winding the path ahead may be, Alao will continue to press forward along the historical corridor, leading more people to distant horizons and exploring the depths and vastness of the Silk Road. Known as the first village of folk instrument craftsmanship, this place is a keeper of millennia-old cultural memories. In a sunlit courtyard, 65-year-old Northern Sma'i is intently carving a block of wood, his blade working in harmony with the grain. The meticulous craftsmanship reflects his deep affection for this ancient art. He has been engaged in this for 40 years.
Bir ömür aşı yaşaşlık kodum eşine. Uzun dağılırka. İşki süpetli unda yazsa ahırda öğüldüke bize. Ondaki onun çağımız okulda bundan mergendim. Palırmışta o hem de uzun vardı oyun oldu. Çoğuntamını yengi bir şu işini bilen kısan kırda özgürlüğü kaşınga. Diyasasta müstaklı işine.
To him, instrument making is more than a dialogue with time and nature. It is a vessel for the transmission and preservation of culture across generations. This craft lineage transcends mere technique. It is a devoted pursuit of music soul. Every instrument he makes carries the voice of the land, resonating with emotions and memories.
Ezan bozma kısa buldu hem de ondan kısa kırda kenken bulda buldu diyasas kışne. Kol kis tora parda tanıştık. Adı toglaş gitti. Başlık kenken azam buldu. Burun onda işleyimiz hazır. Özün barağını sanma dayımız onunca. Özün barağında avaz yaşlıkta. Başlık açtık sağım buldu eken avaz ağında çıkmaydı. Yana çıkmaydı.
Within 10 paces, a craftsman dwells. Here, nearly half the villagers are skilled in making folk instruments, though many are illiterate and lack knowledge of musical theory or notation. They rely on the oral transmission of skills passed down through generations, turning here into first village of folk instrument craftsmanship.
Şagıtını çıkırırsak, şagıtını bu teşkilatının köpülüken, Palan şagıtı özleyen eken, onda ögetsek, onun turmuş yaşlığında ve özlemini gözlemeyi kanbatça, onun gözlük yaşı, halkını gözlep çıkımı takılmaydı. Macaya kenti, Namarat kenti olanken, şagıtını çıkamazsak, bulmaydı meyildi. Ama ben o khas milletinin adımı olduğumu kesik sürmesin. Tezulaşlık. Ya ben de onda yok. İşte münane tığım ondan süpetlik ondan çıkarsak o hırda adı kengip gitti. O da adam çok oldu. Burun oğlum elde caşı vakıltı öğreniyor. O işin manın ötte. Ama önüne kızık kattı o. Şu ben karşını tutup öğretip oldum arkadaşlar. Ben şu maçta tırışıp kaçan maçta şu bulamın hep kandikin Abdurrahimlik diye buldum derecelik.
Without instruments, there would be no Jiayi village. Without the inheritance of this craft, the village will lose its soul. It is artisans like Norden, with their hard-working hands and a sense of historical mission, who drive the Asian craft to evolve through preservation and preserve through evolution, making Xinjiang's traditional instrument making a shining calling card of the modern Silk Road. A humble screen, thin as a veil of silk, stitches continents into a single fabric. As a gateway to open frontiers, Xinjiang has blossomed into a thriving hub of cross-border commerce, where digital caravans now thrive. These startups bring global goods to locals and promote Xinjiang specialities worldwide.
在这个来新疆其实是一个很偶然的一个时间段。由于这个7年我是来旅游，我们来到这个霍尔果实呢，霍尔果实那时候是没有人的，我们住在酒店里面，整个酒店只有2、3个人。这个路上开，这个整个城市空荡荡的一片城市。我们把这个物流已经解决了，这是国际物流。第二个，我们公司现在在做这个。直播，一件代发，我们有自己的这个独立站，有自己的电商，有货到付款。这个是在哈萨克斯坦这个国家，我们是独一无二一家企业，没有第二家。
To Wang Enpei, this land is not merely a trove of abundance; it is also a bridge connecting Xinjiang to the world. As he brings Xinjiang's unique products to Central Asia and neighboring countries, he also shares the stories of this land's customs and culture.
现在目前来说，现在这个“一带一路”国家，它是给我们的一个非常好的一个机会。第一，现在霍尔果实这个口岸，因为它是一个非常完善，现在条件也比较成熟的一个口岸。现在这个霍尔果实它有一个政策叫无检无免的一个政策，所以我们现在，在最短的时间，我们现在国外国内现在扩展到500多个员工，连管理、直播、所有电商物流一体化，我们现在500多人。所以我们在明年，我们会在这个哈萨克斯坦，会覆盖到6月份之前会覆盖到17个州。我们整体要孵化6000人的一个团队。
To Wang Enpei, this is a mission imbued with purpose. He has established trade partnership with enterprises in over 30 countries, including Belarus and Kazakhstan. His efforts has earned high recognition from countries along the Belt and Road.
由于我们这个中亚这些国家啊，现在目前来说，它是一个非常好的一个机会。它就像我们中国的90年代。你看，像我们现在做的电子产品，他们才刚刚开始使用，刚刚开始有这种心理去接受融合。像这个“一带一路”国家，你看它很多国家它都是属于是小国，你看他们在不同的领域里面都是农业国家，所以他们也在慢慢的在向我们中国的这个学习。所以我们现在把中国的这个产品呢融合到这些中亚或“一带一路”国家。原来我们是外国人把中国的钱赚走了，我们现在改变模式，现在我们要把中国的产品卖到国外去。
Today, Wang Enpei's work transcends commerce itself, becoming a cultural bond. He shares products alongside stories, bringing the culture of Western China to the world. On the Asian Silk Road, he builds a cultural bridge with his original aspiration and passion, allowing distant lands to feel Xinjiang's vitality and profound spirit. Footprints etched on ancient trails, traditions upheld with quiet mastery, and markets expanded across the globe. What we have witnessed is not only the efforts of individuals, but also a nation's firm steps in rejuvenation and opening up. Xinjiang is where history meets modernity. Here, the spirit of the Silk Road, spanning millennia, still shines brightly. And we trust that in the future, Xinjiang will bloom on the world's cultural stage, shining with even greater brilliance.